Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we're going to present about knowledge, attitude, and practice dengue fever prevention in Hilir, Perak. So this is our group members: Nur Amira binti Samsul Johari, Ismi Syaira binti Muhammad Fauzi, and me myself Nabilatul Husna binti Zulkifli. Nur Alisa Shifat binti Muhammad Zuki, Aisyah Hanani binti Nur Azhar, and Nuri Kristina binti Ahmad Nizar. So the background of our study. Dengue fever is mosquito orthopox-borne viral disease that has been spread rapidly throughout the world. As of 2022, the World Health Organization estimates that more than 3.9 and more billion people are at risk of getting dengue infection. The dengue struck Malaysia in 1902 and made noticeable in 1973 in urban and suburban areas at Kuala Lumpur. The largest outbreak was seen in 1969 with 4,255 dengue cases reported and 32 fatalities. On August 23, 1982, the destruction of disease-bearing insect at DDBIA 1975 went into effect nationwide. The DDBIA is designed to ensure the elimination and management of disease-carrying insects. Additionally, it gives the appropriate authority the jurisdiction to examine and cure those who have ailments brought on by insects. In the 5 years between 1969 and 2000, an average of 4,316,000 and 113 locations were checked annually for Aedes breeding. This is one of the government actions to prevent the spreading of dengue fever. So the problem statement of our research. In the year 2020, there are 90,304 dengue fever cases reported with a mortality rate of 0.16%, 145 deaths. While in the year 2021, the cases rate and mortality rate have shown a decrease with 26,365 cases and 20 deaths. As for week 43 of 2022, the dengue cases reported has reached 49,569 with 33 deaths. As we look into a small area, which is Hilir, Perak, the dengue cases are still minimal where the area is small. Most people, especially those living in compact area, are lacking knowledge about dengue prevention. This will let them stay ignored and less concerned in order to reduce the dengue rate. Our objective of our research is firstly to indicate the mean total knowledge on dengue fever prevention between male and female respondents. Secondly, to indicate the difference in 8 groups' median levels on total knowledge about dengue fever prevention. And last but not least, to determine the relationship between the total knowledge on dengue fever prevention and total practice on dengue fever prevention.
Next, I will continue with methodology. To success our study, a cross-sectional study design is considered to be suitable. A survey conducted on all residents in Hilir Perak district in the state of Perak, Malaysia, using a simple random sampling technique. Furthermore, all residents in Langkap and Teluk Intan is our sample of study. Based on the calculation, the sample size was 404, but due to the certain limitation, only 100 of respondents can be collected.
I will continue this presentation with result and analysis. So for the first result and analysis is we were able to do independent t-test. So the research question for this independent t-test is, does this mean total knowledge on dengue fever prevention are difference between male and female respondent? And the objective for this independent t-test is to indicate the mean total knowledge on dengue fever prevention between male and female respondent. So the hypothesis statement is there is no significant difference in total knowledge on dengue fever prevention between male and female respondent. Based on the table, the independent t-tests were performed, all the assumptions were checked. We can conclude that there was a statistical significant difference on mean total knowledge on dengue fever prevention between male group 34 and female group 66 since the p-value for independent t-test was more than 0.01. This statistic of DF is negative 0.503 of 98. Furthermore, based on the mean total knowledge on dengue fever prevention, female group reported higher total knowledge on dengue fever prevention, mean of standard deviation of 16.500 of 2.31550 compared to males group with mean standard deviation of 16.2647 of 2.00467.
Without further ado, I continue our presentation with Kruskal-Wallis test. Actually, we have done this variable which is total knowledge on dengue fever prevention and highest education with one-way ANOVA test, but the normality assumption did not met. Thus, we apply non-parametric test that is equivalent for one-way ANOVA, such Kruskal-Wallis test. Our objective is to indicate the difference in 8 group highest education medians level of total knowledge about dengue fever prevention. So, for hypothesis statement, H null, the median of total knowledge on dengue fever prevention of 8 group highest education are equal. For the H alternative, at least one group of highest education has different median of total knowledge on dengue fever prevention. Next, for analysis, based on table, the median of total knowledge on dengue fever prevention for 8 group highest education was analyzed using Kruskal-Wallis. It was found that the median of total knowledge on dengue fever prevention is equal since the p-value was 0.144, which is more than 0.05.
So next, I'll proceed with the next test that we can do with the total knowledge on dengue prevention and also the total practice dengue prevention. So what we can do with these two variables, we can use simple linear regression to know the relationship between the total knowledge on dengue prevention and the total practice on dengue prevention. So as a research question, is there a relationship between the total knowledge on dengue prevention and total practice on dengue prevention? With the research question, we can have the objective to determine the relationship between the total knowledge on dengue prevention and total practice on dengue prevention. So for simple linear regression, we will have two hypotheses, which is null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So for null hypothesis, there is no linear relationship between the total knowledge on dengue prevention and total practice on dengue prevention. So for the alternative hypothesis, it will alternate the null hypothesis, which is there is a significant linear relationship between the total knowledge on dengue prevention and the total practice on dengue prevention. Therefore, by using all this information, we can compute this linear regression by using these two variables using the SPSS. The simple linear regression was performed to examine the relationship between the total knowledge on dengue prevention and total practice on dengue prevention. There was a significant linear relationship between these two variables since the p-value was less than 0.01 with the t-statistics negative 5.08 and the 95 confidence interval is negative 0.782 and negative 0.343. To perform this test, we already checked all the assumptions and all the assumptions were met. Based on the figure 1a, the normality assumption was checked using the unstandardized residual by histogram. So we can see the normality line and therefore the normality was met. For figure 1b, the assumption of the linearity and the equality of variance were checked using the unstandardized predicted and residual values by scatter diagram. From the scatter diagram, we can see that the assumption of the linearity and equality of variance was met.
As a conclusion, the demographic analysis data is based on 66 respondents. 34.8% of respondents were male and the remaining 65.2% were female. Next, among the 6 different levels of education, SPM shows the highest percentage, which is 48.5% of respondents. Meanwhile, according to the total knowledge on dengue fever prevention, 17 respondents scored 18 as the highest score with 17%. Additionally, total practice on dengue fever prevention of descriptive data shows that 10 was the highest score with 22 frequency out of 100 of respondents. Next, analysis of inferential statistics, independent t-test was applied and the hypotheses were rejected. For Kruskal-Wallis test, the alternative hypotheses were accepted. Lastly, for simple linear regression, the analysis carried out the null hypotheses are rejected.
Next, I will continue with the limitation of the study. The findings of the study have to seen in light of some limitation. We have a large sample size for statistical measurement, which is 404 samples. In this study, we cannot fulfill overall sample size because it takes longer time to collect the data and possibly burdening those taking the samples. Besides, one of our limitations is time limits. It is because we have deadlines to complete our studies. Sometimes time constraint can affect the research negatively. We got cannot be computed. We tried to compute the total attitude and practice on dengue fever prevention, but the total score is incompatible so that we cannot compare with the independent variables, and the normality also does not meet. For example, the analysis of one-way ANOVA does not meet the assumptions of parametric tests. Therefore, we apply non-parametric tests as another way to compute the results. In our case, we use a non-parametric test, which is Kruskal-Wallis test, as a replace method to compute our data.
Thank you. That's all from us.